Please welcome Rosie Wolfenden.
Thank you, Calypso. Hello, everyone. Who knows about Tatty Devine here? About 60%? Cool. So for those who don't, as Calypso just said, we make Perspex jewellery, and we have done since 1999. And what I was going to do is just take you a little bit through how we started, what we do, where we're at, and then just a little bit about how we make what we do special, which I hope is relevant to you all and what you're here to hear about. So this is me and Harriet. We met at art school in 1999. We went to Chelsea School of Art, and we were there to do fine art, painting. But we basically spent 3 years having a lot of fun together. We ended up living together, and when we graduated, we had every intention to become artists, really. We wanted to be painters, and we were ambitious. But we just started making stuff. We didn't have much money, so we wanted to go out looking ridiculous, as you do. So we'd scour markets and junk shops and our mother's wardrobes and our grandmother's wardrobes and anything, anywhere that was exciting and different. And we just started making accessories. We started making things that we knew you couldn't buy anywhere and no one else would have, because it was a sort of a sense of individuality, I guess, that we were after. And then one day we found a whole load of leather and started making them into leather cuffs. We took them to Camden Market and Portobello Market, and people started to buy them. And this was a whole new concept for us. We didn't really particularly know what we were doing. We just knew that we didn't really want to get proper jobs, and we just wanted to be our own bosses, really. So from the success of that, which happened quite quickly, we started being really experimental and really playing around with other materials and sticking things onto the leather. And it just gauged a lot of interest. We were suddenly selling to Urban Outfitters, Harvey Nichols. We were being shot for Vogue magazine, and this was all in about a 5-month period. So it was very quick, very exciting, and we very quickly realised it's what we wanted to do. We opened a shop in Brick Lane in 2000, and we opened a shop in Covent Garden 5 years ago, and that's predominantly where we sell from. But I'll just take you through the jewellery itself. So right from the beginning, we followed the fashion calendar, and we created 2 seasonal collections every year. And really for us, this was all about experimentation. This was all about creating ideas, becoming obsessed with things, and referencing different periods of history through whatever it was. This last collection was actually inspired by Tudor architecture, as you can see, but it never really mattered whether it was actually going to be on trend or whatever. It was just something that we were really fascinated by. Here's a few examples from the seasonal collection. And we've just recently launched our contemporary collection, which is a kind of more commercial, accessible version of the seasonal. Again, not really following trends, but just to really kind of make product that people see as very Tatty Devine. But the biggest sort of part of what we do is our classic collection, which is what we've become known for. And over the years, we've picked pieces out from our seasonal collection, and it's the classic collection that I think when someone sees a piece of Tatty Devine, it's quite often from the classic collection, and they know that it's by us. Here's some examples. So the next sort of string to our bow, as it were, is our personalised jewellery. And this is when things really sort of started happening for us, I think. And this was really a moment when we could bring a lot of theatre into our retail spaces. And personalisation, as you all know, is a really big deal these days. But we started making name necklaces back in 2001, but it was probably 4 years ago we really realised that this was a service that we could bring in store and let people come and kind of really interact with the product and really get into sort of designing and thinking about what they wanted to wear and what they wanted it to say. So this is originally our pop-up that we took into Selfridges, and back then it was the idea of actually taking manufacturing into a store was quite off the wall, really. Like, we had a conversation with Selfridges, and they asked if it was possible, and we said anything's possible. We never ones to say no. So we made it happen, and we took a laser cutter into Selfridges, and we started manufacturing on the spot as to what our customers wanted. And we've never really looked back. We now have this in our Covent Garden store and our Brick Lane store because it's such a sort of integral part of what we do. It kind of reflects all of our values. It's really fun. It's really original. And it's a really strong part of our business. So it's our website as well. Mustn't forget that. That's obviously, the online is a massive part of what we do. And we sell all over the world through the website, but also through shops, stockists. I think there's a slide, maybe not. So we sell to about 150 to 200 stores around the world, and it really varies from independent boutiques right through to department stores. But where we're finding it really, really working right now is in galleries and museums. And obviously the sort of cultural spaces have taken retail to a whole new level, really, a place that they weren't at 5-10 years ago. So over the last few years, we've built up really good relationships with Tate and MoMA and the Baltic up in Newcastle. And it's those spaces that, for us, that's where our customers seem to sort of navigate themselves to, and they really understand the product and understand where we're coming from. And through being able to distribute all over the world, we then have had a really fantastic customer base from all over the world that can shop on our website. So alongside all of that, we do workshops a lot. And this has become another really important part of our business, and it's a really important part of the brand because this is our opportunity to really talk to our customers, give them an experience, give them something that another brand might not. They get to come into our space, they get to learn how to make the jewellery, they get to meet our team, they get to be inspired by everything we do, and they walk away with a piece of jewellery. And this has become a really, really brilliant part of what we do because it means our shop is flooded with customers. They all buy something at the end of the process and walk away very, very happy. And we're finding this is a really, really lovely way to engage with our customers. It also kind of feeds content into all of our social media channels, our blog. It gives somebody something to talk about. They walk away and they're on Twitter, Facebook, etc., just saying what a brilliant time they've had, which obviously in this day and age is something that we all want to achieve, really want to achieve a feeling of happiness and kind of a positive connection to the brand. We still make everything in the UK. We started off making everything in our studio on Brick Lane, and about 5 years ago we set up a production space in Kent, which has grown and grown and grown. And I mean, more of it is moving over to Kent, but we're very proud of the fact that we can still make it here. It's very important to us. It's important to the speed at which we can turn things around. We don't have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks to get samples back. We don't have minimums to contend with, which means for us, our seasonal collection really can be extraordinarily special. You know, we do sometimes only make 10 pieces, which for the customer is also really important, and it's something we're trying to communicate more because quite often if you have a Tatty Devine necklace, it may well only be one of 10. And more we have people collecting our product, collecting our jewellery, and they really consider it something of value and something that they want to keep. So the production being here is really important. It also means that we can be quite experimental. We can test things. We're always trying to push the boundaries of what we do. So obviously a lot of other Perspex jewellery on the market now, which there wasn't when we started. Funnily enough, when we started, people thought we were actually mad. And when we did start, we'd found a sign maker that was cutting out Perspex to make signs and architectural models. And when we asked him if he'd make jewellery for us, he looked a little bit confused, but was sort of willing to give it a go. And after, I think it was probably about 6 months of working with him, he said, girls, can you just go and buy a laser cutter? Because we were spending about £1,000 a week. So add that up, times 6, yes, we could have bought a laser cutter. And Harriet, my partner, who's technically quite genius, managed to get her head around it in about 30 seconds, and away we were, making jewellery in our very own studio. So we've always partnered and collaborated with loads of people, whether they're fashion designers or galleries or artists. We recently did an exhibition, a collaboration with Modern Art Oxford with the artist Jeremy Deller, who did this incredible exhibition about William Morris and Andy Warhol and the similarities between them. And we were invited to make some jewellery in response to that. So that was a really lovely project. But then we work with, I don't know, massive people like, I don't know, Disney. This necklace was for Minnie Mouse, for something Disney was doing to promote fashion in teenagers, actually. And we were invited to make something that was inspired by Minnie Mouse. So that was really, really fun. But we've also worked with fashion designers, musicians like Belle and Sebastian, who I'm seeing tomorrow night, yay. And artists like Gilbert and George. And most recently, Rob Ryan, that we did a really beautiful solid silver collection with. And that was a real privilege. We actually collaborated with him about 7 years ago. And working with like-minded people has always been really important to us. We've always invited people, artists in to show their work in our shop. And it's just that idea of sharing customers and knowing that your customer's going to love their product and their customer's going to love our product. And when you come together, you make something that really wouldn't have otherwise existed. So that's always motivates us and keeps us really engaged in what we're doing. Social media is really important to us. I guess we were pretty early. I think the day Twitter launched, we were on it, and Facebook alike. And we've really, for us, it's such a powerful medium to know what our customers are thinking, to know what they want, to hear their feedback, to tell them about sales, to tell them about new ideas, new collaborations. And it's something that we're very passionate about. I mean, it's become sort of ubiquitous with any business now. You absolutely have to do it, but actually it's a really kind of brilliant tool. And we can really see the connection with sales online, and you know, you can really see how that all comes together. It's in the press. And I think, we've had lots of incredible people wear our jewellery. And this is also obviously important in this day and age. Celebrity endorsement is massive, but we never really sought that. We never chased that or really paid any money to make people wear our product. What's really fabulous and what makes us so happy is that people have always just wanted to wear it. So we've never had to gift people especially. But it does help, and I think it's the people that wear your product is obviously a reflection on what you are and who you are, and ultimately Harriet and I are all about individuality really, and you know, we're all about expressing yourself and who you are, and hopefully our product does that. It's all about dressing up, becoming somebody else for the day, or really accentuating elements of who you are, and that's still core to what we do. And Harriet and I design everything together still. Even though I focus on the business side and Harriet focuses on the sort of creative side, we do still start the journey together, and we always find the themes together and work from what's currently inspiring us and what we're interested in, what we're reading, what we're watching, what exhibitions we're going to, what music we're listening to, what films we just watched, what we heard somebody say down the pub, whatever it is, it all kind of comes together, and you start getting little moments in your kind of mind of, oh, that would be interesting, or that would be fun, we've never done that before. And I think we're both sort of motivated by a sense of wanting to create something that doesn't exist. And I think the customer wants that as well. There's an element of customers wanting something very special, something that isn't really in every shop, something that, you know, has something special about it, and hopefully that's what we do.